Hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, the Target Individual Experience. So, let's see. Just a recap of my targeting. Um, I'm under, again, remote neural monitoring. They are doing things very subtle this time. Very, very subtle. I just finished watching the Matrix, the newest Matrix movie. All right. And I stream it on the Xbox, and you hear the banging. Anyway, so as I turn off the Xbox console, and as I held the control in my hand, okay, I have the different color Xbox controller, but the one I was using was the black one, right? I got fixated on the light, the Xbox button, the button on the controller, right? It's like a button that lights up, it glows. And as I turned off the console, I got fixed. As soon as I turned off the console, there was a very subtle car beep. I do the whole car beeping thing, the horn thing. Very, very subtle, very quick. And again, it wasn't loud. Okay. And I found myself just fixated on that button, right? That illuminated button. So, you know, again, I was like, okay, yeah, this is, remote no monitoring, hijacking of my consciousness to get me to be fixated looking at this button on the controller. Let me see. Let me see the best way I can show you guys. I'm gonna have to turn this on again. But this is the controller, right? So like I said, as soon as I turned off the console, right, I just found myself just fixated when there was a beep, a car honk, and I guess that must have triggered it, right? So I just was staring at it, and it's just I said, okay, I gotta before I go to bed, I gotta do this video. Plus, I was gonna do it anyway earlier, but I decided not to. Decided to wait. So spoke to Pam called me today. So as soon as we were on the phone, uh, it started with the police sirens. All right. Then uh, I spoke to the kids later on. Again, start with the sirens afterwards, or what have you. And then it was around. I told Alyssa I'll call her back. This was about 10 o'clock. I said I'll call you back in half an hour, what have you. Then they started with the sirens again. Give it very subtle, very quick. Again, trying to avoid uh, attention or suspicion onto themselves. All right. So again, like I said, this is what they do. I came home last night, which was Friday night, because they were using rotary microwave, and Pam kept on walking back and forth into the living room and stuff like that. So when she was doing all these hand signal, palm fixation drill, all that stuff, right? So I was like, okay, I said to her, I'm just gonna go home. I'm just gonna go home, you know. And I took a cab. And the funny thing, I called the cab. Um, I called a rescue cab service. They told me there was nothing available, which is kind of strange. Um, and then also, so I called Rainbow. So I called Rainbow. The dispatcher, she told me that the cab would be there in 10 minutes. Then I got another call from uh, uh, 516 number, which is Long Island, right? I think Long Island area code is 516, if I'm not mistaken, asking me, did I get a cab already, right? Like, did I get a cab already? And I'm like, this. I just spoke to this dispatcher. The dispatcher said be 10 minutes. So, strange call. So anyway, um, I think I have the number too. I'm gonna do another video on it also. Uh, but so anyway, so the cab came. We get to, came out of the Palms apartment building, got into the cab. We get to the end of the block, right? And this dude is gonna, he says to me, how much did the dispatcher said it would cost? I told him, I said $12. He was like, nah, it can't be $12. I've always taken the cab. It's always it's always $12, right? Always $12. So you get to the end of the block, right? We're waiting for the light to change, and he says to me, "Can you pay me now?" And I'm just like, "What? Can I pay you now?" So I said, "Okay, man, whatever." You know what I'm saying? Again, I knew there's something that they were up to. Again, trying to send me this subliminal message about they're gonna be arrested. So I guess that's why he asked me for the money first, because in case anything happened. And I'm there. I'm just like, whatever. Because I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting. I'm like literally waiting. Literally. Okay. So then we get to my block, right? And get so yeah, so we get to my block, and he says to me, I said, I said, this was kind of weird. He was like, yeah, and blah 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 and all this stuff. And then he says, what was it that he said? He said, yeah, he's like, yeah, the dispatcher just called in the call, didn't give the number or wherever of or even the between streets or what have you. And I'm just like, man, you know what? I said, look, what have you, man? I said, look, we're here, right? I said, have a good night. I said, be safe. And came in the house. But it was a very strange night last night, and I was just like, man. But that's the reason why I waited to do this video, because Pam went out with her friend. It was her friend's birthday tonight, right? And she was like, "Oh, the babysitter, have plans afterwards or what have you, and I need to be back by 9:30." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, it is what it is, right?" Um, so I guess they were doing the sirens after I spoke to Alyssa, so I was going to call her back. I guess they didn't want me to call back, what have you, because they started with the sirens. And coincidentally, I started watching this movie, The Matrix, and I didn't even look at the time. Right now it's one after 1 o'clock. Right, it's a pretty long movie, but yeah, but they've been very subtly using the sirens and the car honking since I've been home. Right, and you know, you hear my sister yawning. Yeah, you know, hijacking of their conscious mind. The things on you hear the knocking that's happening. I don't know if the camera, if the microphone picks it up, but you know. But again, this is because the subliminal threats, particularly when it comes to me receiving my disability. Then it's like, oh, if you get your disability, we're going to arrest you and blah blah. I'm like, well, go ahead, go ahead, do it, right? Like I said, I came home in the cab last night. I was I worried? I wasn't worried, because I wanted to. Because again, they are going to verify everything that I say is happening. Okay. Not also am I going to verify it by doing videos like this and showing you what it is that they're doing, but they're going to verify it too. Okay. So this is what. Also, before I forget, so they're always trying to say Mr. Blimmer about being kidnapped in a van, being thrown in a van. So I was playing with my daughter. Like I said earlier, I was playing with her in Roblox, and we're playing this game called Lifetopia. It's like a kind of a sim game, right? So you get your house, you go on vacation and stuff like that. So she was like, okay, let's go on vacation. You go on vacation. She was like, okay, we're going to Los Angeles. So like, okay, fine, what have you, So she's like, okay, we'll get a house on the sea, right? So she gets her house. She builds a house on the sea. This is Lifetopia. Builds a house on the sea. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for a swim. She has a slide. So I go down the slide, go into the water, and one of the other people was playing in the game parked they actually had a van, right? A van under the water, and I was like, oh, you cannot make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up, man. Because again, these are always the subliminal types. And also, I'm going to upload a video which I'm playing Fortnite, and I talk about how they always try to sabotage the missions that I try to do, what have you. And again, I'll show you guys what it is that they do. We're supposed to protect and build a defense to evacuate a shelter, and this person just after they build like a wall, right, a defensive wall, They basically edit the wall to where it's like wide open, every section of it, right? To try to sabotage it. And there was another person that was playing. He was on the mic. He was like, "What the hell are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing?" You know. And so he had to. He and I was, trying to fix what the other person was doing because they were trying to. This other person was trying to sabotage our game. But again, this is how they sent me subliminal message that they've been sabotaging my life as well as our life as TIs. They have been sabotaging our lives. All right. And so I'm going to upload that video after I do this one because I wanted people to look at this one, and I'm explaining what it is that they were doing before I upload the video. Um, but it's incredible that the stuff that they do. It really is, and like I said, I'll continue to do this video. Doesn't matter what they try. They may, I may, today I didn't do a video early because again, and when I came home last night, because I was just tired. I was tired, from being microwave all yesterday. Took the kids to the mall. You know, not yesterday, but Friday. Took the kids to the mall to try to exchange some sneakers that I bought for my son, and of course they had, man, trying to elicit the fight or flight, what have you. So mentally, I was drained. I was exhausted. We're supposed to go today, which is Sunday, early, because the famous footwear closes at 4 o'clock. I mean, who knew that shit? The only store in the mall that closes at 4. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Um, yeah, I say 4 and hear the car honk. Well, you might not, again, they're doing this very, very subtle. So maybe the microphone won't be able to pick it up, but they are doing very, very subtle, with the remote no monitoring and the car honking and stuff like that. So what that tells me is that they have exposed themselves, right? And like I said, they know what they're doing is wrong and it's criminal, but they continue to do it. They're not going to stop. So we as TIs, we have to continue to show what it is that's being done because they're not going to stop. Okay, they just want us to be quiet, to not talk about it, while they continue to do what they do, and that's something that I refuse to do. I refuse to be quiet while I'm being tortured, while others are being tortured, while they're hijacking our conscious mind, while they're hijacking the conscious mind of the people around us also, right? Because you see, once you have them believing in this religious BS, you tell them that it's God. It's not God. This is these people with the technology, these elites, these in the military, these in the Department of Defense, the NSA, the CIA, you know, and they have developed weapons in which they can control people. Okay, and as a black person, it doesn't scare me because at first it did, but it makes me very aware that people mindset can be co-opted. People mindset can be hijacked with these technologies, right? And that's a scary thing when you think about it. It is, because like I was talking to this guy a couple weeks back on the bus, and he wanted my number. I said no. I said first of all, I don't give up my number to anybody because first of all, I don't know you. You're not even you don't even know what's going on, bro. I told him. I said you don't even know the technology that they've created. So unless you become self-aware, and you become aware of these things, there's no way I'm giving you my number because they're just going to use you to target me. Okay, so I'm not putting myself through that. When people understand about the technology, when they become self-aware of their own thoughts and understand who and look inwards and understand who they are and separate their programming from who they are and can show me that they have my best interest or the best interest of the people around them, then I give up my number to people. Other than that, no way. It's not happening. No way. So I just tell myself, listen, just, here's my Facebook account. You can send me a friend request on there and you can find out about all of these things. But it is very, it's kind of sad, really, but this is how I have to be in order to protect myself, right, from the people who they will send to just basically cause havoc in your lives and in our lives as TIs. Right? So like I said, unless they are aware of the technology, unless they're willing to listen, unless they're willing to change certain behavior that we as TIs feel is detrimental, not just psychologically, but also physically and mentally, what have you. Then we cannot just be giving people out our numbers like that. Okay, because again, as a TI, I understand how important self awareness is. Right. This is why I don't do certain things when I do certain videos. This is why if I do a video on my computer, I will, um, pause the video, or I will say, hey, you may not want to look at what it is I'm doing if I'm trying to explain something. Self awareness is key as TIs, that so that we don't cause further psychological trauma to each other. We have to understand that. Okay, and so with that being said, I bid you guys a good night, and I'll definitely do a video later on today, um, after I come up from the mall. You know, to again explain what went on and what happened, because like I said, they're never going to stop targeting us. So we have to continue to expose it, and the more we bring attention to it, you'll see that the more that they start to act and behave in the manner which they do right now. Because right now, they are doing things so subtle, which I have not seen in for a couple of weeks now. Okay, I'll say a couple of weeks, because not to say that they don't do it, but between early on today, you know, it was been besides the two incidents where I spoke to Pam and the police siren. I spoke to my kids later on, and the sirens again. But other than that, my upstairs neighbor started banging temporarily, and then it stopped. So it wasn't like continuously all day. So like I said, we got to bring awareness, make people become self-aware, educate them, right, and make them understand that their minds, right, can be hijacked at any time using these technologies. Okay, so guys, have a good night.